Have you ever dreamt about taking a cruise on one of them fancy boats, soaking up the beauty and the magic just to free your soul? It's floating on the ocean, just a notion that seems out of
Good
reach.
evening and welcome to another Behind the Mission. Guys, we're going to dive a little deeper into the Behind the Mission with our very own liaison and host liaison, Michael Ann. Most of you guys know she is on the board for Helping Hands for Cruising. And it is my pleasure to do this interview with her. So give me a few minutes and let's welcome her in. Is she there? Hmm. Well, hello, Miss Michael Ann. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you doing this evening? Sorry, guys, we're having a little technical difficulties. Give her a few minutes and she's going to come on in here for us. There we go.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome into Behind the Mission.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. So a little bit about what we do here is we want our community, our followers, and people who aren't our community or our followers to get to know a little bit more about us, the board, who we are, how our passion is, and our insights as to what you do with Helping Hands for Cruising. So with that being said, go ahead and tell the people who you are, what you do, and what your role is with Helping Hands for Cruising.
My name is Michael Ann. I have been on the board for almost 2 years now, and I have been the host recipient liaison for basically the North America branch of the Helping Hands. So I get all the requests for or nominations for people to go on the cruises. I get to talk to the nominators, talk to the people, and then report to the board, and then we make our decision, and I get to report back to the people saying, hey, congratulations.
Awesome. Awesome. So what does this opportunity mean to you?
It means that I can be a part of the like what I've seen happen, what all these recipients that I get to be part of that now.
Okay. So if somebody, let's start off with the recipient side of things, okay? Say I wanted to nominate somebody. How would I go about that? And what is your role in doing the research for that?
Okay, the easiest way is to go into the website, helpinghandsforcruising.org, and there is a spot in there where you can nominate a recipient. There's a little form to fill out, and we're requested to do a 2 to 5 minute video just telling us what you know about the person and why that you feel they deserve a cruise. I get that information. I go and talk to the nominator, see if there's anything that more I need to know. And then I go to the board and approach them saying, okay, so-and-so has nominated this person. This is where they're coming from. And it's whether it's a situation that's a financial disadvantage or a physical disability, or it's a caregiver that, somebody thinks they need a break. And we talk about it, and then the board decides, well, yes, go ahead, pursue that. So then I go back and I talk to, I make sure I get the the contact information from the nominator, and then I approach the person saying, okay, you've been nominated for a cruise from Helping Hands for Cruising. And I have a list of questions that I go through just to find out more information about them, whether it's going to be a good fit or it's going to be maybe a good time or not. And then I take that back to the board and we talk it over again. and then we make our final decision, yes or no, that the person's going to be a good fit.
Okay. How do you guys decide who hosts these cruises, or how does one get to be able to host a cruise? What is the steps in doing those?
A person that's, I'm sorry, I got a dog scratching at the door.
That's okay. I have a cat eating his cat food over here. And I'm like, right now, really?
I know, I let him out and everything, but okay, if a person is hosting a group cruise and they would like to make it a Helping Hands for Cruising group cruise and bring a recipient aboard, then they have to give us the same 3 to 5 minute video why they think they would be a good host for a Helping Hands for Cruising cruise. And we kind of want to know what kind of experience they've had at hosting cruises, how many cruises they've done, just so we know that that's a good fit as well. They have some experience at hosting a group cruise, and we have some expectations that if we put a recipient on there, what are they gonna do to make sure the recipient has a good time?
Okay. So, what inspired you to get involved with Helping Hands for Cruising?
Well, as you know, I was a part of the inaugural cruise. That was my very first cruise as well. And in a way, I was kind of gifted a cruise through a friend. So I maybe think I have a little bit of a feeling of what it is to be given that kind of opportunity, and watching Kenny get that opportunity of going on a cruise and experiencing all these things for the first time, because I'm sitting there, I'm experiencing now, wow, look at this cruise ship and all these things you can do and all these places we get to go. And I love the fact that now I can help bring that to others and know what that feeling is when they first step on the cruise ship, or go to a new island or see the ocean for the first time.
Right. What was the most rewarding part of working with a recipient for you?
Just seeing their reaction when they find out they're going to be able to go on a cruise, because a lot of them have, if they're down on their luck and stuff like that, they don't dream of going on some kind of big vacation. A vacation to them might be a weekend at their nearby park or campground or something like that. They don't dream of the big vacations, and it's like, here you go. And then they're seeing their reaction, the amazement, the disbelief that, wow, I get to go on this, and then the gratitude they have that they have the ability to go on a cruise.
Yeah. If you could sum up HH4C's mission on one sentence, what would it be?
I was really hard thinking on that one, because making that dream a reality thing was, so how to turn it into what I see it as, it's making something impossible possible.
I agree.
Because like I said, they don't think that's going to be ever possible for them to do something that big, and then it's like, here you go, enjoy yourself.
Correct. Correct. Can you share a moment when you saw the impact of HH4C firsthand?
Seeing it in Kenny's eyes, I didn't really get to see his reaction getting on the ship.
Correct.
But this past October, when I got to see Roxanne walk onto the ship, and her eyes went like big as saucers, and that smile went on her face, and it never came off her face the whole time. Every time you've seen her, she had that smile on her face, and she was really enjoying herself, and knowing that this is the first big vacation she's been on.
And that was also a host recipient cruise as well, correct?
Yes.
And whose cruise was that?
That was Amy from Amethyst Hayes Adventures, and that was, I believe, the 15th cruise that Amy's done, and the second group cruise she's been on.
Awesome. Awesome. That's truly amazing, that we get to put the recipients out there on well-seasoned cruisers and they kind of know the legit of everything and how to go about doing those things for those cruisers.
Mhm.
You know, um, if Helping Hands for Cruising had a mascot, what would it be and why?
That one was tough. I was like, what kind of animal? And I was like, oh, maybe it'd be like a sea turtle or something like that, but I don't know why that would be. The sea turtles go through a lot of stuff and they're adventurous and traveling around. But then I had some kind of quirky little thing like Handy, the helping hand.
Right?
And all like his picture in my head was like Mickey Mouse's glove, only that like a life size one. And I'm like, that's really corny.
Like the hamburger helper hand.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that's really corny, but hey, hello, Handy. We're a helping hand. We're gonna give you a helping hand onto a ship. That's really corny. But I
That's
was trying to
funny.
think of an animal, and the sea turtle was coming across my mind, but I couldn't get my mind wrapped around it.
Yeah. What is your favorite part about cruising?
I love the water. Start with water brings me a lot of peace. And the fact that you're stepping on this cruise, that you travel to the cruise bar, however you get there, whether you've driven or flown and taken a shuttle, you get on this ship and it's like a one-stop thing. This thing is going to take you around to different ports that you know, it would be so much if you were had to fly to each individual port or you know, you don't have to worry about that. You just get on the ship, you have fun watching shows, enjoying food, socializing and all that, and then you go to bed and you wake up, you're in a new port. And for,
Yeah.
with it's 5, 7, 8 days, you don't have to worry about anything, just enjoying yourself.
Yeah. If you could cruise anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I love the Caribbean, but when I was thinking on that, if I could cruise anywhere, I would like to be on one of those like repositioning cruises.
Hmm.
But in my mind, it was there. I believe there's one that's like out of Australia and it goes kind of up into the towards Japan and that, and then got to goes over to the Hawaiian Islands and over to Seattle. And then my brain went, oh well, maybe I'd like to back on that one because there's one that goes once it gets to Seattle goes up to Alaska, and that would like be A to A kind of a cruise.
Right, right. That would be kind of fun as well because you could see kind of all sorts of things, you know.
Yeah, that would be a dream cruise.
What is your funniest or most memorable cruise experience?
I would have to say watching Roxanne, just watching her. She loves to party. Whether we were on the Lido deck for the sail away party or for the '80s party, she was up there dancing up a storm and grinning, and she made a real impact on the cruise director. And I don't know the number of times he'd come over and he gave her a little kiss on the head or a little hug or come over and just talk to her. That really hit my heart. That Felipe was phenomenal with Roxy, and
Nice, nice.
anytime he's seen her, he would speak to her.
What's one cruise tip you will always share for the first time traveler?
I would say remembering to pack things like your medication, your travel documents, including your passport, things like your jewelry and stuff like electronics, maybe a change of clothes and a bathing suit in your carry-on and keeping it with you. Because there's people that will shove things into their check luggage and then realize, oh, gee, I maybe want to go for a swim or I needed that document and I handed it to the porters at the port. It's in my checked luggage. So making
Right,
sure that stuff is in your carry-on and you keep that with you.
right. Buffet or specialty dining? What is your choice?
Really, neither.
Yeah.
I prefer the main dining room. I do go to the buffet. The last cruise, when we embarked, I did go to the buffet because they had the Mongolian walk there. Um, The only thing I've done close to specialty dining in both cruises I've been on is going for the lunch up at Cucina de Capitano,
Hmm.
where it's included. So that's the closest I've done to specialty dining
Okay.
because it's
Um, how many cruise, different cruise represent representing ships have you been on? Like what, like NCL, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, which ones have you been on?
I've only done Carnival. I was on
Okay.
the inaugural cruise on the Carnival Horizon, and I was on the most recent um, one on Carnival Breeze out of Galveston in last October.
Okay. So now some fun and things about you. Let's get to know Michael Ann just a little bit more.
Oh no.
If you could have dinner with any other historical figure, who would it be and why?
Well, I did some little looking and going, who, historical figures, who have, and I come down to, and then this was listed as a historical figure, but he's local to where I live,
Okay.
and that is Chris Hadfield.
Okay.
He is, well, he's an astronaut, but part of that, he was an engineer, fighter pilot, he's a writer, he's a musician. He's been on 2 space shuttle missions. He was commander of the International Space Station for 6 months back in 2013. He's done a lot of cool stuff, and it's like we've seen the ocean from our perspective on land looking across. I, I would like to get the perspective what it looks like from space.
Oh, I know that would be
How cool would that be?
yeah, I would like to sit in on that conversation.
My youngest son was working with a catering company. He got to meet Chris Hadfield and shake his hand when they catered his daughter's wedding. They have a cottage on Stag Island down in the river here,
Okay.
and so the wedding was there, and they took the boat over, or little ferry over with all the catering stuff and catered the meal. So,
Nice. That's yeah, and that's in between Sarnia and Port Huron, correct? Or
yeah,
Sarnia and St. Clair, somewhere right in there.
it's a little down the river there.
Yep. Um, what is your go-to karaoke song?
I'm not much of a karaoke person. I have got up a couple times when it's been like a group thing.
Yeah.
I'm a little shy to get up by myself, but I could see doing something like something from Queen or maybe Don't Stop Believing from Journey or something like that. But I'm a little shy to get up by myself.
Right, right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So am I. What's something people might be surprised to know about you?
I love doing jigsaw puzzles.
Really?
Yeah. And I haven't done any for a while. It's been a while. I did a bunch back at the beginning of 2020, and then I haven't had any. And I had one I was going to give to a gift as a gift to a friend of mine back at Christmas, but we never ended up getting together. So I kind of went, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll give her something else as a gift if we get together to celebrate Christmas. But I've been working on one. It's called Mountain Mist, and it's just a beautiful picture of the mountains with the kind of the fog and that amongst it. And it's all kinds of different colors with a sunset or a sunrise in it.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, so we touched a little bit about you. We talked a little bit about helping hands. We talked a little bit about the hosting a cruise. Let's go back to being the liaison for a cruise recipient. And I would like to touch base on how do you think helping hands for cruising is changing lives?
Hmm. How would I word that? Just giving someone a dream that may possibly, they can go on a cruise, and then once they get the confidence of going on one cruise, then well maybe they'll try to branch out and do something else, whether it's trying another cruise or traveling or getting involved with some other like a group or a meetup or
Correct, correct. What message would you share with the recipients or somebody who is considering nominating someone? Like what kind of message would you share with them? So that way, say if I came to you and I said, "Hey, Michael Ann, I'm really thinking of Matthew as a recipient. And what kind of advice could you give me as the liaison of some things to look at to see if they would qualify in my eyes?" Like if I had no clue about helping hands and I just heard this for the first time, because there's not a really plain Jane thing on our website to go by. So what kind of advice would you give somebody who is looking at maybe saying nominating a recipient?
the first thing we need to know is that they've never cruised before. Because we're not going to, if they've had done a cruise before, they're not going to get gifted a cruise. We also need to make sure you're not nominating yourself or a family member.
Correct.
And that there is a need of some kind, whether they, have a disability, they've been financial problems that they've never been able to do that. Another requirement they have to have that we need is if they get nominated and it passes the approval, they do have to have a passport,
Okay.
and they do have to obtain that on through their own means.
So that is one thing that Helping Hands for Cruising does not cover, correct?
No, they have to have a passport. I know there's a lot of cruises that say, oh, you can only need a driver's license and a birth certificate. We, as our charity, want you to have a passport, because if something happens and you get off the ship on an excursion or something, and for some reason, whether it's an injury or something, or for some reason you get delayed and don't get back on the ship, you need to have that passport and pretty much any island to get off the island to get
Correct.
home or
Correct. Now, through the nomination process, and getting to know these recipients, and let's talk a little bit about Roxanne's cruise. You got to really know Roxanne more on a personal level, because not only did you get to do the interview with her, but you got to go on the cruise ship with her and experience that cruise ship with her.
But from the time she was nominated, and I found out, okay, she does have social media. So, I looked in a little into, finding a little bit about more about her. So when I did get the point of having an interview with her and questioning her, I had a little bit more than saying, okay, so and so nominated you, and I need to know this, 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 this. So it was more a nice conversation to say,
Right.
and then once we got together, when she showed up for the meetup, and we were already at the restaurant, and Sharon and Gary brought her in there, and she's like, hello, hello, and did she see me? And it was like right over and gave me a big hug and that and connecting again, like connecting in person. I've talked to her across the computer for months beforehand, but seeing her in person and then getting to watch her on the cruise, enjoying herself. She loved dancing, and she loved checking things out and going to I didn't see her going to the casino, but she did like the casino. Like showed up there with Sharon. She had saved up a little budget so that she could try out the casino. And well, what else did she do? Oh, we all got as a group dressed up for the because it was Halloween time for the Halloween contest. We dressed up as a cherry on top, and it was fun just as a group getting together and doing that with her.
Nice, 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 nice. Now, do our recipients go down normally the night before a cruise or the day of
Yeah,
a cruise?
yes, we arrange the transportation for them to the cruise port or to the city where whether it be say Miami or Galveston or I think the other one was Tampa. We arrange to get them there and then we'll put them up for a night before the cruise and if necessary a night after the cruise, depending when their flights leave or arrive and leave again. And then we'll make sure that they get from the hotel to the cruise port and on the ship. And usually the host will make sure that
Okay.
they know what they're doing along the way. So
So
they're not.
is there, now touching on the host part of it, is there like a checklist that we send with the hosts when they are, brought in as the host recipient for a cruise? Do they get a checklist to make sure, hey, we don't just say, oh, yep, you're going to do this, and oh, here's your recipient.
I think that's kind of been a work in progress. I think each cruise we learn a little more maybe we need to add this to the list or maybe we got to remember that got to do ABCs because it's not just saying, hey, welcome, you're going to be going on a cruise. 2 weeks before they got to check in. Well,
Right.
if they have no clue about cruising, they don't know about checking in. So the host who's been on cruises before, or I think Amy was working, so myself and a couple others just did not a Zoom call, but like a messenger call or what's the other one we use?
Zoom or Facebook meeting, stuff like that.
Yeah, or backstage on when we do a live stream.
Yeah.
The word's escaping me.
The
Can't say it.
StreamYard.
StreamYard, yes, that one. We did like a StreamYard call and everybody had their computer there and we just kind of okay, I've only done one but once before, but step by step. Okay. You go here and then you click on this and then you can go and from here click on the time that you want and then we can go back and run through all the steps that you need to have to
To make sure you're
get
there.
get your
Correct.
boarding pass for
Correct.
and then telling them okay, you got to print out your boarding pass, you need to print out your luggage tags and these
Correct.
kind of
Correct.
things that you need to bring with you.
Um, now, all right. We thank you very much, Michael Ann, for coming in this evening, and we greatly appreciate you being with us tonight. And I'm just going to go ahead and close it out, and then thank you for giving us the behind the mission of your liaison and your host recipient cruises that we do. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining in tonight on this Behind the Mission series with our host liaison for Helping Hands for Cruising. You guys can all help make a difference and get on board with Helping Hands for Cruising by visiting the website helpinghandsforcruising.org. Without all of you guys, none of this could be possible, from your endless amount of sponsorships to your fundraising to your charitable donations. You all are help making dreams become a reality. And with that being said, we thank you and we wish you all a good night. Have a great evening, guys.
Dream set sail today, rising up no delay. Hands reach out, we say, join us come what may.